Just add this to your dog's morning routine. And the smell coming off his teeth, that hot, low sulfur reek that hits you when he yawns in your face from across the couch, starts to fade inside a few days. If your dog is a small breed, a Yorkie, a Poodle mix, a Chihuahua, a Dachshund, I need you to lean in because your dog is the one most likely to be carrying what I'm about to describe. Small mouths, crowded teeth, the same 42 adult teeth a Labrador has packed into a jaw, a quarter the size. That smell is not dog breath. It is a gas, a specific gas, pumped out by a specific bacterium living under your dog's gum line right now, quietly eating the tissue and the bone that hold his teeth in place. And most owners never name it. They just crack a window and buy a bag of mint treats. I'm Dr. Rachel Nolan, a small animal vet. I've spent thousands of appointments watching pet parents miss the same warning signs, so I made this channel to teach you the ones that actually save your dog's life. Let me give you 4 things fast, because once you know them, you can't unknow them. First, by the time a dog is 2 years old, up to 80% of them already have some level of periodontal disease. Not old dogs, 2-year-olds, dogs still acting like puppies. The Merck Veterinary Manual, the reference we actually keep on the shelf and open in front of clients, puts it right there in black and white. Second, that reek has a name: volatile sulfur compounds. The 2 big ones are hydrogen sulfide and methyl mercaptan. Methyl mercaptan is the same compound the gas company adds to natural gas so you can smell a leak before your house goes up. Your dog is manufacturing it in his own mouth, breath after breath. Third, there is one bacterium doing most of the damage. It's called Porphyromonas goulet. In one study of 665 dogs, nearly 82% of them were carrying it. That's not a rare bug. That's 4 out of 5 dogs on your street, in the dog park, in your own bed. Fourth, and this is the one that should stop you, this same organism doesn't just stink. It releases enzymes that dissolve the gum and the bone anchoring the tooth until the tooth loosens and falls, or has to be pulled under anaesthesia at a bill that runs hundreds to a few $1,000s. The bad breath is not the problem. The bad breath is the smoke alarm going off while the wiring burns behind the wall. So here is the reframe I want you to hold for the next 15 minutes. Your dog's mouth is not dirty. Your dog's mouth is an ecosystem that has tipped, and one small thing you do every morning can start tipping it back. Now, most owners are confidently wrong about one thing, and it's costing their dogs their teeth and costing them money. They think bad breath is cosmetic, a nuisance, something a dental treat or a minty water additive fixes. So they spend real money, $15, $20, $30 a bottle, month after month, a couple $100 a year, on additives promising to eliminate it. Here's what those products don't tell you. Nothing you pour in a bowl removes tartar once it's formed. Nothing. Plaque that sits on the tooth for more than 2 days mineralizes. It hardens into calculus, a substance like cement fused to the enamel. And cement only comes off one way: a veterinarian, general anesthesia, a metal scaler, a bill that starts around $300 or $400 and climbs past 1,000 once extractions are involved. That's it. So when a product promises to make tartar vanish, it's selling you the one thing it physically cannot do. What you actually have control over is the plaque, the soft living film you can wipe off with a fingertip before it hardens. That's the window, that's the whole game. And that window opens every single morning. Let me show you what's happening down there, because once you see it, the fix makes sense. Porphyromonas goulet is what we call a gram-negative anaerobe. Anaerobe means it hates oxygen. It thrives packed down in the airless pocket between gum and tooth, the exact spot your dog can't lick and you never look. It feeds on protein, the protein in food debris and in your dog's own tissue. And as it digests that protein, it exhales those sulfur gases, hydrogen sulfide, methyl mercaptan. In one study out of Kitasato University in Japan, published in 2023, the researchers measured it directly. This bug pumps out more methyl mercaptan than hydrogen sulfide at a ratio of about 2:1. That mercaptan-heavy signature is the specific stench of a dog with gum disease, not food, not stomach disease. But the smell is the least of it. This organism produces enzymes called gingerpains. Picture molecular scissors that snip proteins apart at specific links. Gingerpains account for roughly 85% of everything destructive this bacterium does. They cut through your dog's gum tissue, they break down the collagen and the bone that hold the root socket together, they feed the colony, and they let it burrow deeper toward the jaw. And there's a genetic wrinkle. The strain carrying a variant called type C fin A is tied to the most severe disease. Some dogs are simply seeded with the nastier version, and they're the ones losing teeth at 6 and 7 instead of 12. Here's the honest picture. You are not trying to sterilize this mouth. You can't. You are trying to keep the soft plaque film disrupted every day so the colony never settles in, never mineralizes, never gets the 2-day head start it needs to turn to stone. Let me tell you about a few dogs because this is where it gets real. A client of mine, a 9-year-old miniature schnauzer, let's call him Biscuit. Sweet dog. His owner brought him in convinced he had a stomach problem because his breath had gone from doggy to genuinely eye-watering over a few months, bad enough that she'd stopped letting him sleep on the bed. She'd been buying a water additive the whole time, faithfully every day, close to $200 over that stretch. It smelled minty going in. It did nothing going out. When I lifted his lip, the gum line on his upper back teeth was an angry swollen red. It bled at a touch, and there was a rim of brown-grey calculus a couple of millimetres thick that you could scrape with a fingernail. That additive never had a chance. The tartar was already cement. What he needed was a $400 cleaning under anaesthesia, and then a daily habit to keep it from coming back. Second dog. A 2-year-old Yorkie, all of 6 pounds. 2 years old and already the classic small breed setup, teeth crowded shoulder to shoulder, plaque packing into gaps a big dog's mouth would flush clear with saliva. Her owner did everything right on paper and was blindsided that a young dog could have gum disease. But remember the number, 80% by age 2. Small breeds are the front of that line. We caught her early, before any bone was lost. A morning routine and her breath came back to normal inside about a week. Third, and this is the one I want you to hear most carefully, an older Cocker Spaniel came in for what the owner also assumed was just bad breath. But this smell was different, sharp, almost like ammonia, like cleaning fluid, like the back of a public restroom. That's not a sulfur smell. That turned out to be a kidney problem, the toxins his kidneys could no longer clear, coming out on his breath. And the mouth was telling us weeks before the dog looked sick at all. I'll come back to that because it matters more than any trick in this video. So here is the 60-second morning routine. And I'm going to give it to you straight, including where the hype ends and the real benefit begins, because you deserve the honest version, not the viral one. You'll need one thing, virgin coconut oil. That's it. A single jar runs $6 or $7 and lasts months. Pennies a day. Every morning, take a pea-sized amount, no more, and warm it between your fingers until it turns to clear liquid. Lift your dog's lip and for about 30 seconds aside, rub it firmly along the gum line of the upper back teeth, where the big chewing teeth, the molars, and that large upper carnassial sit. That's where the plaque loads up first and heaviest, and where that bacterium hides deepest. You are not just coating, you are mechanically disrupting the film with your fingertip, wiping it off the tooth the way a squeegee clears a window. That rubbing is doing more work than the oil itself. 60 seconds, once a day, with breakfast so you never forget and it becomes as automatic as the coffee. Now the honesty, because this is where I part ways with the internet, the coconut oil claim comes from human studies. In one, 60 teenagers swished coconut oil and saw plaque drop about 60%. And gum inflammation drop about 52% over 30 days. Impressive, but they swished for 10 to 20 minutes a day, not 60 seconds. And when researchers pulled the best trials together, all 4 of them, they rated the entire body of evidence low quality. There is no published study of coconut oil in a dog's mouth for breath. 0. There's a mechanism problem too. Coconut oil's active compound monolaurin works best against gram-positive bacteria. Our culprit, Porphyromonas gule, is gram-negative. It has an extra outer membrane that shrugs coconut off. The exact type coconut is weakest against. In humans, it didn't even significantly lower one common mouth bacterium. So what's the honest promise? The rubbing, the daily mechanical disruption, is the real medicine. The coconut oil is a pleasant, cheap vehicle that makes your dog tolerate a finger in his mouth and even lean into it. Together, they can genuinely reduce bacteria and freshen breath as a daily maintenance habit. What they cannot do is cure gum disease or dissolve tartar. Forever is a word for marketing, not medicine. And skip the parsley trick you'll see paired with this. The idea that chlorophyll deodorizes breath traces back to a 1950s study that was later dismissed. Chlorophyll isn't even absorbed well enough to work that way. A little parsley won't hurt your dog, it just won't fix anything. If you want to take this further, here's what I do for my own patients. Once your dog accepts the finger rub, graduate to an actual soft toothbrush with the same coconut oil, or better, a real enzymatic canine toothpaste, the kind that runs $8 to $12 a tube and is safe to swallow. Daily, or at the very least every other day, because remember the 2-day rule, miss more than 2 days and the plaque starts turning to stone. And stone is the $400 cleaning, not the fingertip. The Merck manual is blunt about it. Daily brushing is the single most effective thing you can do at home. Nothing in a bowl beats a brush. One warning on the coconut oil, and it's a real one, it is about 120 calories a tablespoon and almost pure fat. For a small dog, an overweight dog, or any dog with a history of pancreatitis, that fat is a genuine risk. It can trigger a pancreatitis flare, which is a vomiting, hunched, won't eat emergency and an overnight hospital bill in the 4 figures. That's why I said pea-sized. This is a topical rub for the gums, not a spoonful in the food. Now, the part I need you to slow down for, bad breath is not always about the teeth, and treating the smell can hide something dangerous. If your dog's breath smells sharp and ammonia-like Biscuit's kennel mate, like that Cocker Spaniel, that can point to kidney disease, the body failing to filter out waste. If it smells sweet, almost fruity, or like nail polish remover, that can point to diabetes and a dog burning fat for fuel because it can't use its sugar. And a heavy, foul odour with yellow gums or vomiting can point to the liver. In every one of those cases, no morning rub will help, and masking the smell only delays a diagnosis your dog cannot afford to wait on. Weeks that can be the difference between managing a disease and burying it. So the rule, if the breath is sudden, if it's ammonia or sweet rather than that familiar sulfuric, if the gums are pale or bleeding, if your dog stops eating or drops weight, that is a vet visit today, not a coconut oil morning. The trick is, for maintenance, it is never a substitute for an exam when the smell changes character. Here's what I want to leave you with. 60 seconds, one finger, a little coconut oil along the gum line, every morning with breakfast. You will not cure anything, and I won't lie to you and say you will, but you will be disrupting the exact film in the exact spot on those upper back teeth that turns a healthy mouth into a diseased one every day before it can harden into the tartar that costs a tooth and a 4-figure bill. That is real. That is you doing something for your dog that most owners never learn to do at all. That's what a pet parent who actually pays attention does. So tell me in the comments, what does your dog's breath smell like? Familiar and doggy, or has it changed lately? Gone sharp or sweet or worse? I read these, and the answer might matter more than you think. If this saved you from wasting another month and another $20 on a water additive that was never going to work, hit that like button so YouTube shows it to the next owner cracking a window instead of lifting a lip. Subscribe. I put out a new one of these every few days, one system of your dog's body at a time. And give your dog a big kiss for me.